Look at the tools we use every day. They started as simple automation, doing exactly what we programmed them to do. Then they scaled into augmentation, helping us process our work faster. Now they are moving towards autonomous agency. As these systems scale across industries and reshape our workflows, a quiet problem is expanding right underneath them. We are building increasingly advanced machine capabilities, but we are leaving the human user severely underdeveloped. The risk lies in a psychological transition. When machines become capable of complex tasks, humans often default to cognitive laziness, allowing the tool to perform the labor of thought. Many people enter this new landscape without an internal framework, interacting with these platforms from a position of dependence. This starts by asking the software to synthesize data, then to interpret complexity, and eventually asking it to determine which positions to hold and what meaning to assign. By outsourcing that interpretation, a person allows the software to become the invisible author of their consciousness. They stop driving the tool and become a victim of it. Reclaiming that agency requires a specific, disciplined capacity, organic intelligence. This capacity sits apart from IQ, academic knowledge, or digital literacy. While those focus on information retention and tool usage, organic intelligence centers on the natural, identity-rooted ability to think deeply and frame reality without surrendering to external systems. Organic intelligence acts as the living architecture of human thought. It is the intelligence that exists before the tools even power on, and it is the framework that must permanently govern them. In an environment flooded with external systems, the primary task is self-mastery. Without it, the user remains underdeveloped, regardless of how powerful the tool becomes. Let's look closely at how this framework operates, starting with the outermost defensive layer, thought architecture. This acts as a structured filter for incoming information. A machine can generate endless answers, producing a massive volume of noise. A mind with high organic intelligence uses its internal architecture to frame the actual problem correctly, distinguishing the signal from the statistical output. Once the problem is framed, discernment activates. A generative algorithm predicts mathematical patterns based on probability. Discernment allows a human to separate underlying truth and essential meaning from mere utility. From there, the refined information reaches the layers of judgment and decision power. Software can synthesize vast datasets, but it has no conscience. Weighing context, navigating ethical ambiguity, and anticipating long-range consequences remains a purely human burden. Because a system cannot own responsibility, the human user must retain the authority to assign meaning and consequence to every action. Beneath the filters, the judgment, and the decision-making lies the deepest, most protected layer of organic intelligence, identity. The age of artificial intelligence functions as an age of identity crisis. This core serves as the anchor that stabilizes a person's values against the pressure of external scripting. Navigating the digital space without clearly defined governing principles allows external systems to fill that vacuum. When we lack internal definition, these platforms begin to define our moral boundaries for us. This erosion happens gradually through convenience and repetition. By relying on algorithmic shaping, we begin to adopt the suggested language, the suggested framing, and the suggested logic of the machine. A human operating without cognitive identity becomes technologically sophisticated, but existentially empty. They leave themselves open to being reauthored and colonized by their digital environment. This dynamic scales. Whether you are an individual navigating a career, an organization modernizing its workflow, or a nation digitizing its infrastructure, importing AI without cultivating organic intelligence creates a permanent state of dependency. The most urgent question facing us today is no longer about the technical limits of software. It is whether we can build humans capable of resisting cognitive outsourcing. We need individuals who can leverage technological speed without sacrificing their moral direction, people who can innovate without becoming intellectually hollow. The coming age will create a divide based on cognitive depth. You must decide whether to become a dependent of an intelligence you did not govern, or to cultivate the internal architecture required to lead it.